Okay, everyone, this is Tim's equivalent of the poor man's radon remover. As you know, to remove radon in a home, your best option, or the one that's recommended, is that you use a vacuum pump and put pipes underneath the foundation, so it basically pulls the radon out through the ground and then up a pipe and outside. I didn't feel like spending, close to $2,000 for that, so and I wanted to know if this option would work. So what I did is, as you can see, the one-day average is 3. That's typically where it's at. I was kind of slacking off this winter, so the long-term average is around 7 because I wasn't very religious about doing this every week. But here's how it works. And then I missed the past 2 weeks, so 5.21 is the last 7 days because I had skipped for 2 weeks. So as you can see, it does climb. But if you're willing to do this every week for 3 hours or more a week, you'll get your average down to about 3 or 3.5. And as you can see, this home, it's got a window here that just leaks like a sieve when it pours in rain. So that alone is going to bring in a lot of radon. Plus the foundation is not sealed. I have done no remedial repairs or anything to the foundation, sealed any cracks or anything. I'm going to be doing that next, but I wanted to see how effective this was just by itself. So what I did is I went out, I found this on eBay, and it's actually a heavy-duty dust collecting system. It's called Penn State Industries. It's a DC3XL, 1.5 horsepower. I got it on eBay new for $150, but it costs a lot more than that. It's usually around 300 bucks. But I suspect that any air mover, you know, those things that you see at bounce houses, would do just as good of a job. It's just a question of how much air does it move. If it's an air mover, it's going to be moving a lot of air. So what you do is you just hook up a hose behind it, or you can probably leave it open. I don't know how effective that would be, but I actually bought some of that irrigation line that has the, it's like drainage line, and it actually has holes inside the pipes. And I ran a little bit this direction. It doesn't go for very far, just like a few feet. And then I ran it this direction for about 15 feet. I think about like a 20-foot strand and a couple of couplers, and I've hooked it all up together. And then I just taped this up so it wouldn't be sucking air from up high. It'd have to suck air from the floor. And I think that's basically the primary goal, is to suck air from the floor. But if you just put the air mover directly on the floor, you'd probably get the same effect. But I don't know. I just figured this would probably be more effective overall. But the question here is just trying to move air. With radon, from what I understand, is that it's heavier than oxygen, so it does settle in the lowest point in your home. But it does mix with air, so that it does mix thoroughly, and it does move with the air as well. So your highest concentration will be in the basement. We have a sub-basement and a basement, a full basement, and this is where the full basement is. So what I found is that when I first tested this using the charcoal meter, it was 11.5 PCI, and that was really high. It scared the crap out of me because I'm like, the EPA's outdoor level is about 2. Recommended actionable level, where you should do something about it, is 4. So if you can get your readings down below 4, you're definitely within that range of 2 to 4, where you don't really have to do anything, and your chances of dying from cancer is a lot less. So what I've done is I just hooked up PVC to the other end of that, and then I went up and then out, and then it ran up another about 10 feet high, and then it dumps it out there up about 10 feet off the ground. But as you can see, we're underground quite a bit here. Ground level's pretty much at that top of that thing, so we're about 7 feet below the ground with this full basement. But another thing I did is, just to see how effective it was doing, is I went out this year and I bought a little Corinthium radon meter, and it takes a little bit to detect and read accurately, but it gives you a 7-day average, gives you a long-term average, and then it gives you like the 1-day average. And I just ran the blower 2 days ago, and it was way down, and now it's at 3. As you can see, the 1-day average is 3, so it's come up a little bit from where I turned it off, because like I said, it's been almost 2 days since I ran it. If you run this every single week, you'll stay down below 4. But if you skip 1 week, it seems to jump up to around 5 or 5.5 on that second week. Then you have to run again. As you can see, my 7-day average is 5.21 because I actually slacked off a week. I didn't run it for a week like I was supposed to. So that's my advice, because up on our sub-basement, when I first tested it was 5.5, and then the full basement was 11.5. So it was really high. So what I found is that I just have to run this thing for 3 hours every single week. I found that longevity makes the biggest difference. You don't run it a little bit every day. You run it for a long duration, 3 or more hours every week. Because it's I found when you pass that 2.5 hour threshold, it begins to really change the amount of radon in the air. Because what it's doing is it's pulling all the air out of your basement and chucking it outside. And it's doing that across the whole house, because I've tested upstairs after doing this, and it's dropped significantly too. It's usually well below 3 after doing this. So it takes it clear down here in the basement and also upstairs. So I found that to be the most effective solution. I'm trying to think of anything else to pass along to you, but I mean, roughly this setup for me cost me about $200, because it was about $50 for the PVC, and then the other components there, and then $150 for the actual blower. Now I've seen air blowers for about, you know, 70, 80 bucks. I've seen them for, you know, 200 bucks or 300 bucks. I'd say just get the mid-range one, which is about 100, 150 bucks. But I found this one on eBay. Like I said, this one retails for a lot more, because it's actually a dust collection system. But it's got I liked it because it had like the clamp things where you could clamp stuff to it, and you could hook up other stuff to get it out. But it's not really about what it is. It's about how much air you're moving. And I don't know what the rating is on this one. You can look it up, but it moves quite a bit of air, and I think that's the most important aspect, is just moving air. Now, someone has asked me this question: does it go down in the summertime when you're using your swamp cooler or your evaporative cooler? And I'd say no. I haven't seen it change at all because of the evaporative cooler. It still stays high in the basement. Why is that? I don't think it's moving enough air. I don't actually crack this window either. Maybe that's part of it. So all the air just moves upstairs and never gets down here. Yeah, it stays nice and cool down here, but it doesn't actually change anything down here. You got to get to the lowest point in your home where the radon is going to settle, because it does settle. I've seen that. There's a much higher concentration on the floor than there is about 4 feet, and it does say to register at about 4 feet away from window. This is not where it usually sits. It usually sits back here on the other side of the table, so it's inside here further. But it's I found this is the best place for it, where it sucks from the floor, from the lowest point that you can find, and just blows it outside, and you got to do it every single week. But you know, $200 is a lot less than $2,000, and you know, some solutions are less, some solutions are more than that. But I would say that, you know, this is more than adequate for what you need. You're just trying to get those levels down, because the most dangerous part of it is when you get above 5. You can look this up on the EPA information for radon. It appears as though when you get above 5 that the chances or the number of deaths by lung cancer per 1,000 really start to climb. When you get above 10, it just goes crazy. It's like really high number per 1,000. So your goal here is to get it down as close as possible to 2, which is just outdoor levels. But whether that's realistic or not, I don't think so, because I've tested this puppy outside and it registers around 3. So I think it's different for everybody, but I live in Utah and we live in the Great Basin. It's a former lake bed. The strata of the ground is not rocky at all, so it allows all that radon to come straight up, right into our homes. So this is my solution. I hope you enjoy it. Sorry it's been so long of a video, but I just wanted to show you as much as possible and give you as much information as what I found. Thank you. Bye.